What's up, you guys? This is Asia Castillo, and I'm your host of Cut the Shit. So, the first thing I want to talk about today is self-evaluation and cutting the shit with yourself, right? So that's what the idea of this podcast is. It's about bossing up and realizing that we actually have complete control over how our life goes, right? It's all through our mental, it's all the way we talk to ourselves, it's all of that. So that's the first thing I wanted to tell you guys, is that it's all about being accountable. So whatever you allow is what's going to continue. So if you're allowing somebody to mistreat you, or you're allowing a one-way friendship, or you're allowing these actions from people that you know that either you wouldn't do or that you know that you're absolutely not okay with, it's going to continue. Those same feelings that you have about yourself are going to continue. The arguing, the toxicness, all of that is going to continue until you decide to make the change and choose yourself. I remember there was this point in my life, and it was the lowest moment I've ever felt in my entire life. I just remember I was crying every day. Most days I was sleeping until the evening, and then I was up all night, if even that. I just always wanted to be sleeping. And if I wasn't sleeping, I was drinking, I wasn't eating, I wasn't doing any type of self-care. It was the worst moment of my life. And I just remember just snapping one day. And I finally realized, it was like this epiphany that I had where I was just like, bitch, what are you doing? What is going on? It went from feeling sorry for yourself to now this is your lifestyle, sleeping all fucking day, not eating, you look crazy. What the hell is going on? We can't go out like this. I just remember as soon as I switched that self-talk on and I realized I'm literally an enemy to myself right now. Why am I talking to myself so badly? Why am I allowing myself to slip through the cracks? Why am I allowing myself to lose everything that I worked so hard for? I was hurt, but I was allowing myself to stay there. And I think just as I made the decision to start doing counseling and these things that would help me, I finally realized, I was like, I'm treating myself like I'm my own worst enemy, and I'm supposed to be my best friend, right? I'm supposed to be my own safe place. What the hell am I doing? And as soon as I realized that, it was like things just changed for me, right? It was an awkward process. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't just 1, 2, 3. I was not popping with myself like that back then, right? It was an awkward and ugly process. There would be times where I would look in the mirror, and I remember my counselor giving me this exercise, and it was to look in the mirror, and it could be 30 seconds for my first time, but just stand in the mirror for a few seconds and say nice things to myself. And I remember thinking in my head, bitch, that's fucking weird. I'm not fucking doing that. Nah. And she kept telling me, and I was like, ugh, fine, whatever. I'll go home and I'll fucking talk to myself. So I remember I'm standing there and I'm looking at myself, and the first thing that I immediately do is I start picking stuff out. Ooh, bitch, your under eye circles, your hair is frizzy, your fucking eyebrows look atrocious. I was saying rude shit to myself. That was my reflex. And now in hindsight, it's because I've programmed myself that way. And not really programmed myself, but that was what I grew up around. I grew up in a very toxic type of household, and not a lot of compliments were being given, okay? So it was the way that I grew up, right? It was just something that was natural to me, or normal. Not natural, but normal. And so I just remember standing there, and I'm like, damn, nice stuff? Okay. well, bitch, like, your eyelashes look good. Like, I didn't know what the hell to say to myself. So I'm like, okay, this is awkward as fuck, but we're going to try. So I remember just going through that process, like, every time I would look in the mirror. And I was just like, all right, eventually it won't be so awkward. I won't want to, like, bust out laughing. But anyways, so I remember as the time would go on and I kept doing these exercises, they started sticking. I was starting to talk to myself like a best friend. Like, you got it. Get your bag. Look at you making money, making moves, all these goals, manifesting. Okay. Like, I was able to start talking to myself like that. And it made me feel good. It almost felt like there was this weight just lifted off of me. I wasn't downing myself. I wasn't constantly in my head about what was wrong and what was this and what was off. And, like, I felt like I could finally breathe. As I started talking to myself nicer, I found ways to just be there for myself. Before this whole process began, I remember I would call up, like, maybe a friend, right? And, I'd sit there and vent about whatever it was that was going on. And I might feel good, you know what I mean, for like a little bit. But then at the end of the day, there's going to be times where your friends can't answer the phone. There's going to be times where you might not have nobody. Or you could just be like me at certain points in my life where I just didn't fuck with nobody. And you have to be okay, because the only one that's sitting in those thoughts and sitting in that emotion at the end of the night is you. Nobody's going to come down from the motherfucking clouds and come and save you every time something pops off, right? So you have to learn how to be there for yourself. And a part of that is being able to talk to yourself the way that you would a friend. Think about things that you would tell your girlfriend if she was about to pull out her phone and be like, I'm going to go on so-and-so's page. I want to see what he's doing. Or I'm going to text so-and-so. I miss him. But it's the toxic fucking fuckboy ex that you wouldn't want her talking to. What is your immediate response? Nope. We're going out. We're going to go get our nails done. Bitch, you're better than that. You're not going to go back to those toxic ass cycles anymore. Like, we're moving forward. You're not there anymore. You're here. So let's boss up and let's move forward. That's how you have to talk to yourself. So whenever I was dealing with some shit, and a exercise that my counselor gave me was to put your hand like over your heart and then another hand in the center of your stomach. And just hold yourself and feel. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and then just ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Okay, I'm feeling depressed, or I'm feeling anxious. Just feel it. Don't try to understand it. Don't try to make reasons for it. Just feel it. It's a moment, and that's it. You feel it, and then it's gone. That's all it is. So whenever you feel that way, or you feel super anxious, or something's going on and you don't know why, just sit with yourself and honor your emotions. It's something that just helps. And I remember my counselor giving me this exercise, and it was so uncomfortable for the longest time. And I remember when I was sitting in that emotion, literally feel myself spiraling. Like I was spiraling, like I was thinking about 25 different things and this and this and that. And when I learned to just turn it off and picture a color or a box or something, and just think about that, and then think about eliminating it from my body, whether that was breaking it, throwing it, or maybe that could have been, I don't know, setting it on fire, stomping on it, whatever it was. And just the act of sitting with the emotion and then ridding myself of it was such a powerful moment for me. And that's how you need to be there for yourself. So whenever I was dealing with something, that was always an exercise that I did to be able to be safe with myself. And ladies, let me tell you, one thing that you will find out very soon on this journey to self-love, once you begin it, is you don't know shit about yourself. Like, there was so many things that I started figuring out about myself. And even now, like, it could be the slightest fucking thing. And I'm just learning so much about my temperament, about the things I like, about the things I don't like, how I work best, what type of environment I need to be in. Like, there's just so many things that I didn't realize about myself before, because I feel like most of us, especially if you're a sensitive person like me, um, when we get into these relationships, right, we tend to latch on to that person, and then we just want to be with them all the time. We're so consumed with the relationship. And a lot of this was because I had codependency issues, right? I had all of these issues that I didn't heal prior to getting into these relationships. So it was like, once I got into these relationships, I neglected myself. I stopped learning about myself. So as soon as I decided to start my self-love journey, I was like, holy shit, this is like crazy. Like, I was overwhelmed by how much I didn't know myself. And that's a part of why I couldn't be there for myself at the time, because I didn't even know what I needed from myself. So that's one thing you will find out. And I advise this time it should be fun. Go out and do things that you haven't even tried yet, right? Like, I picked up painting, I picked up heels dance class. Like, that was so fun. Like, there was things that I never tried because I always wanted to be with my boyfriend, or I was so worried about the relationship, and it was just insane. You know what I mean? So once I was out of these relationships and I began that journey with myself, I quickly realized, like, wow, there's so many things that I'm good at that I didn't even know, or there's so many things that I never even tried before, and they give me so much purpose, or they give me happiness, or they add to me. Like, there's so many things out there that you can try. Fill yourself with those things. Stop letting a person's absence rock you. Stop. It's not worth it. There's so many other things that you can be doing. Maybe there's a YouTube video that you've been wanting to put up, but you just haven't had the time because you're occupied over this person who's not even worried about you. Boss up. Do the thing that you've been putting off. Create a business plan. Go out and make some money. Make a friend. Dress up. Feel good about yourself. Go get a massage. Go get your nails done. Go get your hair done. Go take a walk in the park. Go take yourself to eat. Like, there's so many things that you could do. When you're sad and you put your hand over your heart, and then you put your other hand in the center of your stomach, and you just listen, what do I need right now? I need a couple hours to cry. All right, bet. Cool, bitch. Start crying. Cry for however long you need to cry for in a day. And then at night, we boss up. We snap out of it. We wake up in the morning, and then we get this money, or we get this business plan in place, or we add value to our life. We can't stay there. The more you stay there, the more life is passing you by. You can't get that time back. There's so many moments in my life where I was depressed over not shit people, and I could have been adding value to myself. There's so many opportunities that I swear I missed out on because I was too busy being sad. There was this analogy that I heard, and it was basically the idea of, let's say that you had this business that you were really passionate about, but it had to be a side hustle because it wasn't bringing in enough money at that moment, right? So then you have your main job. Now, your main job is just, it's good, it's bringing in the bread and the butter and what you need, but it's not your passion. Now, let's say you get fired from the job and you go into like a depression mode. Then you start kind of easing off of the side hustle a little bit because you're so angry about how they fired you or how they let you go, and you're sitting there and you're fixating on, I did so much for this job, and there was so many hours and this and this and that I put into this job for them to just let me go like that. And your phone rings, but you're too busy complaining or in your mind to answer. And that deal that just called you was exactly what you needed to make your side hustle that you were passionate about your primary source of income. But you didn't answer, so they booked somebody else. So that opportunity that you could have had that would have changed your life, that blessing, couldn't be answered because you were too busy being upset about something that no longer served you. So think about that. When you're upset about something, when you're crying over a dude, or you're crying over a woman, or crying over somebody who wronged you, or a situation, or a job, or a friend, remember that blessings are constantly calling, and you got to be ready to answer. So allow yourself the time. Cry it out. Be upset, but only for a little bit, because there is still work to be done. Life is still moving. Time is still ticking. You can't stay there. A really important tip in the self-love journey is patience. Patience is so important because you have to remember a self-love journey is exactly that. It's a journey. There's mountains, there's bumps in the road, there's peaks, there's valleys, there's all types of shit, and you have to be understanding and patient with yourself. There's going to be days where maybe you get off track and you might have to reroute, or you make a mistake and you feel like you went 3 steps backwards, or shit, even 10. I've felt like that before. But keep going. Keep moving forward. I feel like there was points in my journey where I dwelled so much on the mistakes that I made, where I felt like I sat in it and I just dwelled, and then I started unpacking again. So then what did I do? I self-talked my way out of it. Bitch, we're not unpacking. Pack it the fuck back up and we're out. Straight like that. Yeah, you have to keep going. You have to be patient, and you have to understand that shit happens. I'm human. You're human. We're all human. We're gonna make mistakes. But we learn and then we move forward. Whenever you catch yourself in a moment where you might be looking at yourself, or maybe even just you get a random thought and it's mean, or you're downing yourself, or saying something to yourself that you wouldn't say to a friend, I want you to catch yourself. And as soon as you catch yourself, say something nice. And you don't have to believe it, but say it. Because the power of words is real. Whatever you say to yourself, you start planting that in your brain until the point of believing what you're saying to yourself. And it was so funny because I was thinking the other day, well, it's not really funny, but it is. But anyways, I was thinking, do you remember when Snapchat first came out with that stupid feature that was like, this time last year? Well, I remember there was like a solid 3 years where I was just depressed, which is ridiculous. And I would go on Snapchat and then it would pull up where I was a year ago, and I was still a sad bitch. I was like, wow. Wouldn't it suck to be where you are right now in this moment, and then a whole year of life passes you by and you're still in that sad position because you didn't want to put in the work to be better for yourself? Stop waiting on the perfect relationship or the perfect man or the perfect woman to come and save you from your loneliness and from your demons. It doesn't work like that. You have to heal yourself, love yourself. No one can save you from yourself. You have to do it. Stop running away from your feelings. Stop running away from the pain. You have to experience that pain in order to get through it. But once you experience it, it can't rock you twice. So just know those are the moments that grow you. Those are the moments that shape you. Those are the moments that prepare you for the blessings in your life. But you won't ever get to those blessings, and you won't ever feel that happiness until you feel that pain first. So take that step. It's so important. Cut the shit and do it. Put you first. Figure out what makes you feel good. Sometimes, I swear, I'll get home from a long ass day at work, and it's the simple things that I do for myself. Run a hot bath. Just sit in it. Play some good music. Have a glass of wine and just chill and be with yourself in that moment. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb and just be one with yourself. Or it could be getting your hair done, getting your nails done, just getting up and getting out and doing things. Empowering yourself. Learn what sets your soul on fire and just keep at it every day. Thank you guys so much for listening to the first episode of Cut the Shit. I'm so excited to have a platform where I can just share with you guys things that I'm going through or that I've went through, and hopefully you find it relatable and find it helpful. That's what I'm here for, is to pass on knowledge that has helped me, because I've been in some pretty low places. I've been there with you guys, and I'm in such a better place now. And don't get me wrong, there's times and days where I just cry or I'm just upset. You know, I'm human. And that's Dior in the background, but I'm human, and I'm gonna go through things, right? Like I said, journey up and down, up and down, up and down. It's not a straight shot. And I'm okay with that. I've accepted that that is what it is. So I don't let it get to me. I just keep pushing forward. I just want to thank you guys so much for even listening to what I have to say, especially if you've gotten to this point in the video. I appreciate and love each and every one of you guys who supports me. And stay tuned, because there's going to be some pretty cool stuff coming up, and I can't wait for you guys to see it, to hear it, all of that. So this is Cut the Shit, and
Cut the Shit.
I'm out.